Hello! It has been a minute since I've done a recipe video on my channel, but today I am actually doing 2 recipes in this video, and they're my 2 greatest hits. I actually already have videos on this, so if you've already seen it, you can go ahead and not watch, but I'm changing it up slightly for both recipes, so if you want to see my new updated version, go ahead and keep watching. So the first recipe I'm going to be making today is my egg bake, and this is like the easiest recipe, and you can tweak it however you want, and I just love this. And it's easy because I actually prefer refrigerating it overnight and baking it in the next day in the morning. So if you're somebody that wants to pre-plan for breakfast, this is a perfect recipe for you, and all you're going to need are the ingredients right here. You're going to need some eggs. I do between 5 to 8 eggs depending on how many people I'm feeding. Got some sour cream, tater tots of your choice. You need some green chilies in a can, from anywhere also. Salt, pepper. I'm using minced onion this time and some onion salt. Shredded cheese as well. Now this one I am choosing is the Mexican style, but go ahead and choose any shredded cheese you prefer if you like cheddar or whatever. And then you'll just need a non-stick spray just so that nothing is sticking in the pan that you're using. So I'm actually using this glass. I think this is an 8x8, but you can use a typical Pyrex, I think 9x13 as well if you're making it for a lot of people or if you don't want it as thick. So I like to make mine kind of thick, but it just really depends on your preference. I've made it both ways and it's great both ways. So that's what you're gonna need, and then a bowl with a whisk, and that's basically it. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make this super simple recipe right now. So the first thing you want to do is take your pan, whichever one you're using, and spray the inside of it so nothing sticks, because that's the worst when you're trying to get out something and it's all stuck. So I just used some avocado oil spray to spray the bottom of it, and now we're going to do our layers. And this is the fun and easy part, because honestly this isn't really that hard at all. Like, your toddler can do it with you. So I'm gonna start with some tater tots, and we're basically just gonna layer the bottom with tots and make sure they're all evenly spread out. Sometimes I'm OCD and I actually like line them up perfectly. I'll show you in this video what I do. So I layered the tots as you saw, and yes, I used 2 different bags of tots because I needed to finish off my Trader Joe's ones before I open the new bag, but you work with what you got, and I love that because that's kind of that's my motto, cooking no matter what. Next up, we're going to go in with the green chilies, and you're just going to evenly spread these out the best you can with a spoon. So I'm going to go ahead and do that step next. Here we go. So once I spread an even layer on top, I like to go ahead and pick through and get any of those hard pieces. Sometimes there's hard pieces in here, and like the flappy skins, I like to kind of pick those out too, so that way you have no surprises in each bite that you take, because those hard pieces and the skins can kind of not be the most pleasant thing to eat. Now that I have a layer of chilies on here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a even layer of shredded cheese on top of this, and then we're gonna mix our eggs, sour cream, and seasonings, and then we're just gonna top that all on the top of the cheese. So I'm gonna do the cheese and then the mixture, and it'll all come together. I'm gonna go ahead and do 6 eggs in this recipe, 4 from the store, 2 from my chickens, because I need to use these store-bought eggs first. Next up, you're just gonna mix some sour cream. I never measure this anymore. I've been making this for so long. I do about a half of the container of the sour cream. So just added the 4 seasonings in there, and now we're gonna mix this really good, and it takes a while because you don't want any clumps in your sour cream. So this is the consistency you want. You don't want clumps of sour cream throughout. You want it to be smooth And now it is ready to pour straight on top of the rest of the layers that we just did. You want to pour it as evenly as you can over the top of everything and make sure that all the cheese is covered by the wet ingredients. Now that the egg bake is complete, you're gonna go ahead and bake it. But what I like to do, as I said in the intro, is I put some foil over the top. I put it in my refrigerator and let it sit overnight, and then I bake it in the morning. 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes. Make sure that the sides of your pyrex or whatever you're using is, you can see it bubbling, and you'll see the top starting to turn a little bit of a more yellowy color like baked eggs. So why I like doing it the next day is because all of these flavors really get to kind of like marinate overnight, and when you bake it in the morning, I just feel like it tastes a lot better when it's been sitting. So that's why I prefer to do it the next day. So you'll see us try this tomorrow. I'm gonna bake it in the morning and we'll do a little taste test for you. So you'll be seeing that right now. It's the next day. We baked the egg bake, and now we're gonna do a little taste test for you.
This is like my favorite breakfast dish of all time.
It's good every time.
Every time. It's so good. You know, these are great because we always have them for holidays, so it feels really special, but just as special on a Wednesday as well.
Cheers. Yeah, this is so good, and I'm telling you what, letting it sit overnight makes the biggest difference, so I hope you have fun making it. Yum! We are on to the second recipe now, which is the pasta salad, and I'm using the beautiful striped farfalle pasta that Trader Joe's recently came out with. I think this is just gonna be so pretty. Now, something about this recipe, once again, you can swap out whatever veggies you want. If you don't want cheese, if you want a different cheese. That's why I love the versatility of both of these recipes, because they just kind of go with whatever you have in your fridge, your pantry, and you can just use what you have left over. So for example, I have this stalk of celery here that's kind of nearing its expiration date, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the ingredients, and we'll get right into whipping up this really delicious cold pasta salad. What you're gonna need for this recipe is some pasta. You can really choose whatever pasta you like. I really like bow tie pasta for pasta salad. It just holds up well, and it seems to like hold on to the sauce and all the ingredients. It's great. I love the bow ties for this type of pasta salad. Salt and pepper to taste, and an onion. So I would say a small whole onion. This one is probably the exact size I need. If it was a whole one, it would be way too much, but I think this is the perfect amount. So a small onion, or like half of a medium one, and a bell pepper or two. I like to do two different colors, but right now I only have red. I'm gonna see if this is enough. Now, if it isn't, I have plenty more to add to it, but right now I'm gonna do one because it's such a giant one, and then some celery. Now, you can add whatever veggies you want. Like I said, if you want to add some other things to it, you are very welcome to doing it. I have tried other veggies as well, and I think an important ingredient to this salad though is, or this pasta salad, is a crunchy veg. So celery really has a great crunch to it, so that makes a big difference when you take a bite of this salad. So I will say, if you do substitute, try to pick something that has like a crunch to it. And then the best part of this is the little cubes of cheese that I cut into it. I made it with the unexpected cheddar a couple weeks ago, and it was fantastic. Everybody was asking me what cheese it was. I brought it to a little game night party, and everybody loved it. So I love this cheese. It was the first time I tried it with this one, and it works really well. And then the secret ingredient is the sauce, and it's this sauce. It has to be Feast from the East, sweet and tangy sesame dressing, original. I found this one at Stater Brothers. So if you're looking for it, it used to be sold at Costco. Costco doesn't carry it anymore, but Stater Brothers does. So if you're looking for this dressing, it is the best for this pasta salad. So we're gonna go ahead and start off by boiling the pasta. While my pasta is cooking behind me, I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping all my veggies. One thing that I love to use is my little chopper because I'm not gonna have to chop up everything. I am going to cut the celery and I am going to cut the cheese with a knife, but the bell pepper and onion are going straight in here. So let's get chopping and get all these veggies ready to go for when the pasta is done cooking. The pasta just finished cooking, so I am going to dump this into a big bowl. I like this bowl because it comes with a lid and I can just keep it in the fridge when I'm done making it. So make sure the bowl is big enough to fit all the other ingredients. Now this thing is steaming. It is not ready for the cold veggies. You have to let the pasta cool down first. So I'm not done chopping. I still have celery and the cheese, but the onion and bell pepper are done. What I also like to do before I just set this to the side and let it cool is add a little bit of the dressing because this has a very oily base and it will keep the pasta from sticking together. So I don't do all of this that I'm gonna be using, but I do a good amount just to kind of coat it. And then I'm gonna give it a good stir too so that it does not stick, because if they all stick together, you are in for a treat of hand picking them all apart. They're gonna rip and they're not gonna be as pretty as they look right now. So where's my spoon? So I have my spoon and I'm just gonna go ahead and just give this a good mix. And then every so often I come back over to this and give it a stir again because it tends to want to start to stick together even with the oil, and also it helps release a lot of the heat. So if you want it to cool down faster, continuously kind of going back and stirring it up and making sure that it's releasing the heat from underneath is a great way to cool it down a lot faster. And I do not recommend putting this straight into your fridge because everything in there will steam up because it's so hot. So I never like putting anything hot into my fridge. It makes your fridge work harder and it can ruin some of your food. So I'm gonna set this to the side, let it cool, and we're gonna keep chopping right now. We got celery and cheese, and then we're ready to mix it all together. Now this is a crumbly cheese, so just kind of work with it because the crumbles are fine. You're literally gonna be dicing these into small little pieces anyway, so if it crumbles, that's all good. So for reference on size of these, it's about this size, just a little square cube. Now a lot of this is crumbled, which is fine, like I said, because each bite you're gonna have a little bit of cheese in there. So, but for reference, if you're not doing such a crumbly cheese, you want it about this size. Dice them into little cubes. The pasta has cooled enough to just now dump all the ingredients into it. Also gonna add a little salt and pepper to taste, so make sure that you don't over salt it or pepper it before you try it, and then you can add more if you need to. So I kind of just eyeball it. I don't have like an exact measurement. I just kind of guess. Then I'm gonna mix the salt, pepper together, and now we're just gonna dump everything into this, mix it up, and then just do a little taste test for you because it's so good. You're gonna wanna add more sauce too so it can really soak into the veggies and the pasta. Here's the finished product. You can see it's so colorful and pretty, and the best part is it tastes amazing. So now's the time for a little taste test. All right, so Tim and I are gonna do a little taste test of the pasta salad because it's so good. Get a little bit of everything.
All right, hopefully it's as good as it was last time.
Two thumbs up.
Yep, very good.
The little cheese bites, give it a little extra burst of flavor, and I love the dressing. The dressing is just so good. If you haven't tried it with this dressing, highly recommend. The crunch from
the veggies, the veggies definitely have a good crunch. Everything in here, such a great combo, and I will tell you, this is another recipe that gets better if you leave it after overnight. So tomorrow, it's gonna taste even better. So thank you guys so much for watching my 2 little recipe videos that I make all the time and I love to make. It is so much fun to revisit them and share with you guys and make them into one video, because now I can just link this video every time I reference either one of these recipes. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.